Marketing you and your business in the media. Chapter 1. Face to face with the media. You on TV. If you ever go on TV for a public appearance, because of the lights and cameras, wear makeup. All professional men on TV wear makeup. It's part of the process. As a somewhat public figure in business, you need the media for publicity and the media needs you for stories. Your best bet is to try to be straight, honest, pleasant, and oblige their questions. Don't be evasive or phony, just tell them how you see it. If they give you a cheap shot, that gives you the right to return a cheap shot. The public likes fighters, not wimps who allow themselves to be manipulated by the media. No matter what happens in the media, I fight back unapologetically. If a reporter is being a jerk, don't just try to smooth it over by being wimpishly nice. Show the public you got guts by calling a spade a spade. Act sincerely like you believe what you're saying and believe your company will change the world. Don't talk too much because nobody likes a know-it-all, but just enough to show you're fervent about your cause or product. Make short and sweet press releases too, even shorter headlines. The media often does long interviews then edits them to suit their ends. Tell them you want a straight interview, no editing out of context, meaning they ask you the set questions and the camera runs straight through without being shut off. Get it in writing so you can sue them for breach of contract or slander if they violate this condition and edit your interview. If you give the media what they want, a good soundbite, story, or an image as an expert in topic X, the topic of your business, they will keep coming back for more, so try to have good relations with the media. Remember, they're pros. Don't try to lie to them or spin a story because they will catch you and eat you alive. If you tell a story about your past, they will check it out. One would-be politician in Gainesville, Florida said he played college football. A reporter checked it out, found out he didn't play, so he withdrew because he lied, the implication being that he didn't have a good character. Figure out questions reporters are most likely to ask, write out the answers and rehearse them. Reporters want a good interview, so they will often give you the questions if you ask them or ask you what questions you want them to ask you. Try not to criticize anyone or be hostile during interviews. If a reporter is following you around and you don't want to talk to him, ignore him rather than say something rude which his camera or tape recorder will record. One way to get rid of a reporter is to tell him you will give him a 5-minute interview if he promises not to bug you after that. When being interviewed, don't interrupt the host. Wait until they're finished with the question or statement, then answer. Beware of what you say on the telephone. Somebody could be recording it and use it against you if you say something embarrassing or unethical. There are media consultants around. If you feel you need one, try to find one in the local phone book, the phone books of big cities, or ask around. If you're going on TV, make sure you know the nature of the show and get there early. Bring a list of your own questions that you want them to ask you. Make notes of what you're gonna say. Bring visuals to be shown if applicable, like a video clip of your products, company, etc. Try to get a practice run in the studio so you won't be too nervous when the interview happens. With all the equipment around, TV shows can be intimidating. Ask if you can go in and sit in the interview chair just to get a feel for it beforehand. You must see the camera as your friend and seduce it. That's the way to make it on TV. Be yourself, don't act phony. People will pick up on the real you right away, the camera doesn't blink. The harder you try, the more you have to hide it. That's the secret to success, don't let them see you sweat. Don't be too smooth. Act a little rough, crude, and down-home plain. Make eye contact. Never take liberties with media people like they're your buddies because you've seen them on TV or heard them on the radio. They all have egos. That's where people with egos go to work, to the media, so you have to do what you do with all people of ego you come across, butter them up, play along with their delusion about how special and fascinating they are. Never be casual in your approach to try to get publicity. Make your press releases crisp and professional. Make yourself look good when being considered for a radio or TV interviews. They don't like people who are loose cannons who could go off or say the wrong thing, even though they like harmless eccentrics and safe yes people who the public can look at and immediately pigeonhole into a stereotype. Media is fast moving. Make your points quickly. Master the art of the sound bite. All good politicians are given a repertoire of several sound bites by their campaign managers to incessantly repeat over and over in interviews. Do the same thing. Approach radio the same way as you would television. Just as there are television networks, there are also radio networks. Sometimes radio stations do live promotional broadcasts of local events. If you're a new company, don't try to get too much publicity until you have a track record. If you're all talk and no show, they will turn on you real quick and call you a dud. Media interviews 1. Reveal your true self. Be humble or at least not pompous. No matter what you say, remember, they have the last word and can edit it any way they want. Some people feel they have to learn how to do a media interview. There are media trainers around, mostly located in the big cities, that can teach you this for a fee. I cover interviewing in my job book. You can find such books at number 331 at the library. I noticed a few books like this in the writing section at number 808, around the public speaking section. When going for media interviews, do shows that work best with your personality and lifestyle. Some serious dude would not go well on the Tonight Show and he'd look uncomfortable too. If you have the luxury, pick the shows you appear on well. The media is always critical, at least the real media people are, as opposed to the fluffsters on the pop culture type TV and radio shows. Be ready for it. Even if they're buddy-buddy with you, that's their job, to put you at ease, to get you to reveal your darkest secrets, then spin it any way they want. Never forget that. No media person has any loyalty to you. The loyalty is to their job. They will play you or attempt to. There was one case where an ex-hippie who was falsely accused of planting a bomb by the FBI in the 1960s, fled and started a new life, then 20 years later decided to run for public office, where he made the critical mistake of trusting a journalist who, of course, turned him in to get the scoop, and he ended up doing 10 years for a bombing that he didn't do. Do not trust anyone in the media. Be pleasant, play along, but don't trust them. If you screw up while on camera, if you signed an agreement where you don't have final editing say, they will use your most embarrassing moments, even the one where you say edit that out. When they make you look like a buffoon, they look good. The best you can do is to prepare a ready-made bio about yourself and keep all press releases true as opposed to hype. Occasionally, you will find good, sympathetic journalists. Befriend them, be good to them, and use each other for your mutual ends. When you're attacked in the media, keep your mouth shut and weather the storm. You will come off better than if you act like a little kid and badmouth the person who badmouthed you. The media can damage your reputation or make it. If you act sheepish, guilty, and look like you're trying to cover something up, they will sink you. But you offer to be interviewed, try to be as forthright as possible, admit your mistakes and say what you're doing to try to correct the situation. A lot of the public will like that and check you out more. No publicity is bad publicity if it gets people curious about you. You can learn about interviews in general from either my job book or number 331 at the library, but this is the media. You have to sell yourself by being passionate without being arrogant. The cardinal rule is to give them what they want, an interesting guest offering information but not over the top. The cardinal sin is don't overpromote your product. Speak about 50% of the time and don't give long-winded answers. Make them brief and thoughtful. The interview is your proving ground. Show and tell your strengths. Tell them what you can do for them instead of them for you. Never badmouth anyone. Don't be humble, be quietly assertive. Speak in the human vernacular, not like an educated jerk with 50-cent words or some duded-out teenager. Be prepared but don't memorize any answers. Do your homework beforehand to be able to speak about it intelligently to the interviewer. Just play it cool, be real. Don't bring a cell phone or pager in. The interviewer is just doing a job for TV. He doesn't really care about you, so don't take it personally. Be clean. Groom yourself beforehand. Don't fidget, act calm. Calmness/stability is the highest order of traits you can show. Don't be a buddy. Show proper respect. Interviewers don't like arrogance, long-winded answers, poor ability to speak fluently and clearly. Talk about what you will get out of it, not them. Making excuses. Being late. Poor eye contact. Too rigid. Mr. Know-it-all. Rudeness. No depth in discussion. No knowledge of your subject matter. Unprofessional look. Unrealistic goals. Hostile. Sarcastic. Some interviews are there to sabotage you. If you find an interviewer attacking you, stay calm, don't attack him, just give answers stating what you believe in and deny. Bad publicity will often go away if not reinforced constantly in the media, but trust is everything. If your company is responsible for something bad, get it out, face it head on, say you're committed to change, do it, then show off how much you've changed. Taking responsibility is a lovely term the media loves to use, so take responsibility. Show that you care. People will forgive you, especially if you either act like it wasn't your fault personally but as the leader are taking responsibility, or act like a scumbag willing to reform. Stay loose and spontaneous. The interviewer is the host. The public know him and like him. If you fight him or try to make him look bad, you lose. Be upbeat but not a grinning Cheshire cat. Don't give preachy, long-winded answers. Keep it simple and light. The interview will be a two-way conversation. Drink water before the interview so you won't get dry mouth because of nervousness. Coffee will dehydrate you and give you dry mouth. If you need help, try a media coach in the yellow pages or on a search engine. Analyze your interview after to see how you can learn from it. Job interview websites will help you with general points. In the media directories, they often rank the media markets by population. The capital city of every state is generally a good bet. The major media cities are Atlanta, Baltimore, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles, Miami, Nashville, New York, Philadelphia, San Diego, San Francisco, Seattle, Tampa, Washington, D.C. Secondary cities are Albuquerque, NM, Bakersfield, CA, Cleveland, O, Columbus, O, Denver, CO, Hartford, CT, Indianapolis, IN, Kansas City, KS, Milwaukee, WI, Minneapolis, St. Paul, MN, Mobile, AL, Montgomery, AL, Nashua, NH, New Orleans, LA, Palm Beach, FL, Palm Springs, CA, Pittsburgh, PA, Portland, ME, Portland, OR, Sacramento, CA, ST, Louis, MO. Media interviews too. In order to get your messages out into the media, you have to develop your own personal email list of news directors, program hosts, producers, TV networks/channels, radio networks/stations, magazines, newspapers, media websites, etc., such that whenever you have something that you want publicity on, you write a simple, clear press release that states that the following few paragraphs are for immediate release. Refer them to your website where there is public domain material, pictures and video they can use for their print or media piece, and end it by saying you are available for interviews whenever your schedule permits it. There is a software program called Vasus which assists in managing your media mailing list. No matter what, always keep your press releases short and to the point. If you get an answer back from one of your press releases and somebody wants to do a TV interview, don't take it lightly, because if you do, you'll just end up looking bad. It could end up worse than not doing the interview. The old adage that all publicity is good publicity is not true. If you look like a fool on TV, you'll turn people off. Ask any politician. All of them go on TV. Some put their foot in their mouths. There was one politician who hollered like a hick in one moment of enthusiasm. For some reason, the media chose to gang up on him, and that was the end of his run as a presidential hopeful. Think of a TV interview like a business interview. Don't go in casual. Dress in conservative business attire. If you overdress or underdress, it just takes attention away from your agenda. One time I saw O.J. in his heyday before the murder on some sports interview wearing shorts and a sweat top. It stuck out in my mind all these years because I thought it looked really cheesy, like he just walked off a tennis court and couldn't be bothered putting a pair of pants on. I don't want to see his legs or anyone's legs. It shows disrespect to me. This is what they're like in Thailand and Italy. They frown on people who don't make an effort to dress appropriately when going anywhere official like a government office or a TV studio. They take it as a sign of disrespect, even though to you it's no big deal. Dress to fit in with the tone of the show. You don't have to be stiff and formal, but be conservatively cool. Studio lights generally give off a lot of heat. If you wear too much clothing, you'll sweat. The more jewelry you wear, the more vain you look. For men, wear extra long socks so that when you're sitting, none of your leg skin can be seen. The makeup people of TV shows generally do makeup for everybody because you should get your face darkened a bit to counteract the brightness of the studio lights. If you don't get makeup, you'll look pale and washed out. Either put on clean clothes just before you leave for the interview or bring clean clothes to the venue and put them on there. Some guys take a plane in and go straight to the interview without putting on clean clothes. If you ask the studio director, he or she will take you into the studio before the show to sit in the chair and get a feel for it in advance. Most interviews are live to tape, which means the interview is taped and shown later. The interview itself is treated as though it were live with no edits except for where a commercial will be inserted. Ask which camera to look into when you are talking to the TV audience. Some interviews are cozy, sociable, softball one-on-ones between you and the host. They're supposed to imitate a kitchen table talk. You're not supposed to look at the camera for them. Pretend it isn't there. If you are doing one of the few shows where you take calls from viewers, either a light will come on the camera that's currently broadcasting you or the stage dude will point to it and you will look into it. Your job is not really to know which camera to look into. That's their job. If they screw up, it just makes them look bad. I've gone to a TV interview workshop given by a woman which pretty well wasted 4 hours of my time. She spent about an hour and a half talking about dress and makeup, which is useless to me because I believe you are what you are the way you present yourself to me as a person. I don't particularly care about what you wear or your eyeshadow. You are the essence that is you. Clothes and makeup can't change that. Secondly, she spent about an hour on where to look into the camera, the different camera angles, head shot, head and shoulders, full body, both people, etc., and other minor things like if it's a head shot, you can fidget. If it's a head and shoulders shot, don't fidget. To me, this is all crap. You go, you present yourself as you really are as honestly as you can, you make your point in not an unemotional, logical way and not an emotional, passionate way but somewhere in the middle, communicating info in a level-headed way. Nobody likes anybody extreme in any direction, so don't show too much emotion either way, for something or against it. You are who you are in your essence as a human being. Stay true to that. Don't fake it. Don't try to be a clown just because you go on some show like The Tonight Show. I see people faking it all the time. If you're a serious person, you're there to talk about your agenda, not to pretend you're a comedian. I've seen lots of people shoot themselves in the foot by trying to be funny because they're on with a traditionally funny host, but it backfires because it's out of character for them. It's the same thing with our funny boy Jim Carrey. He gets on Oprah and starts talking about depression and profundity, and the people don't embrace him like he thinks they will because he's being so honest. They turn off because he's out of character, plus the fact that we're all tired of the woe is me sob stories. When I see Jim Carrey, I want to laugh. I don't want to hear some poor, little overpaid movie star talk about how much of a struggle his life is. Stay true to your bread and butter. Stay in character if you're a pop culture person, and stay true if you're anyone else. Most interviews rarely last longer than 7 minutes, even though they're cut up with TV commercials and maybe other news coverage. You have to stay on topic. If you don't know the host or the interviewer, watch his or her show a few times to get a feel for them, or look them up on the internet to learn about who they are. You got your left-wingers, right-wingers, and the pop culture powder puffs. The best interviewers don't really care what you say. They have no personal agenda, like a Geraldo who's obviously left-wing or an O'Reilly who's obviously a fan of dictatorships, as long as he's in charge. The best interviewers just want you to speak from the soul, and that's it. When they introduce you, don't smile like a simpleton who's on TV for the first time. Just nod at the camera with an unemotional look like you've done this 100 times before. Watch how they do it on CNN. Either thank the host, the other guests and the TV audience for giving you the opportunity to come on the show, or just answer the questions as you're asked. Smiling too much makes you look like an amateur happy with the fact that he's on TV. And don't look over at yourself on the monitor. There will be a monitor either on the ceiling or on the floor off to the side where you can watch the interview shots they pick as it's being taped. It's best if you don't even look at it, because if you do, you will start to get self-conscious, critiquing yourself. If there is a big height difference between you and the host, they will often adjust the chairs. Whatever you do, deal in the present. Don't remind people that you're a big shot from a past era. Don't be vain or drop names. If there are other guests, fight for your cause if you feel you must, but other than that, be courteous. Don't use low blows like calling someone a derogatory name. Be yourself. Ignore the camera and have a one-on-one conversation with the host. Remember, the cameras are rolling during the commercial. They are not shut off. You might have to wear an earpiece if another host or another guest is at another location. Just have the studio guy put it on and forget about it. Exaggerated hand movements, body language, and facial gestures are not endearing nor the sign of a passionate person, according to a group of people who were surveyed. They said it makes a person look either fake or flighty. Just sit there and speak without being too expressive. A level-headed person comes off as a calm person. He doesn't talk like some Italian on crack. Ha, that's a joke. You're there to talk, but not so much that you look like an arrogant know-it-all, bullshit artist. Share your knowledge, but be humble about it. It's best not to drink at all during an interview. It's only a few minutes long. You can do without your coffee or pop during that time, or just drink during the commercial. If your mouth gets dry because you're nervous, take a drink. If your hands are shaking from nervousness, wait a while. Use the bathroom before you go out. The politicians have rehearsed 20-second soundbite answers for everything. Do this too. Have your answers practiced and ready. Short answers suck and long answers are too long. It has to be right in the middle. Don't try to be funny. Play it straight up. If you don't know the answer, simply say, I don't know, but it's something I'll look into or should look into, and then connect it to your cause somehow. Once again, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Tailor your pitch to your host, the show, and your audience. Act cool with young folk and conservative with old folk. Arnold Schnitzler is about as religious as I am, yet I saw him go on some religious show and start talking about God. It was funny to me, but he was playing the role. Off-the-cuff sincerity is one thing, but polished professional perfection smacks of phoniness. Practice, but keep an element of spontaneity with it. Don't come off as uninformed. You must have some knowledge of the subject matter. I remember Muhammad Ali claiming he was a Muslim, yet when some reporter asked him a simple question about the Muslim religion, he didn't know the answer. Most interviews are so short that you have to get to the point right away, keep to it and keep making snappy 20-second responses. The interviewer often has an earpiece on with the director telling him what to do. If he cuts you off, it's not personal. He's just doing his job. The technical people and other people will be talking and moving around. Ignore them. Focus on the host. If you are in a remote location, focus on the camera as though you are looking at the host and the TV audience. There might be a two-way monitor there so you can see the host as you talk to him, but more than likely, it will just be an audio feed. Even when you're not talking, keep your TV face on because they might cut in quickly for a split shot or a reaction shot. Sometimes they'll simply take your most interesting facial expressions and splice them in wherever they want later. If you pick your nose while the other guy is talking and you're sitting there thinking you're off camera and they don't like you, they'll edit it in just to make you look like a buffoon. Some media guests prefer to go to the studio because they get more airtime that way, while others just want to a remote interview, especially if a studio interview means they have to take a plane somewhere. I personally think that a remote interview is just as effective as a studio interview. Your product or cause should be strong enough to stand on its own without needing to take a 2-hour plane ride somewhere just to do a 7-minute interview. There's a point where there are diminishing returns. There's so much media that you shouldn't expect one interview to all of a sudden drastically increase sales or change your life. It might, but more than likely people will just watch it as one of 20 different things they watched on TV that night. If your product is good, it will sell regardless of whether you do a bunch of interviews or not. People have a way of finding out what's good through the cultural grapevine. It helps if you provide a 2 to 4 page statement about your issue or product and provide a list of 25 interview questions at the end of it. They might ask you all those questions without deviating from the script, which makes it easy for you. If you see a topic or issue on TV or in the newspaper you don't agree with, ask if they want a counter viewpoint. The green rooms of the big TV shows are well stocked with food and alcohol. Don't eat or drink much before you go on stage. In the end, don't take it too hard. It's just you talking to someone. That's all it is. No matter how great or terrible it is, tomorrow, it will still be you alone living your life. Interview checklist. A basic checklist is: know the medium before the interview. Women should wear a business suit with a skirt, not slacks. Dress appropriately. Never dress casually. Arrive exactly on time. Be the first to offer a handshake regardless of if the interviewer is male or female. Give a firm handshake and maintain eye contact, not too excessive though. Don't accept candy or a drink. Don't smoke or chew gum. Try to hang up your coat before the interview if possible. Don't use first names unless the interviewer requests it. Call any woman Ms. Don't ask her what she prefers to be addressed as, Ms., Mrs., or Miss. Don't fidget. Listen well. Be confident but not egotistical. When the interviewer gives a sign that the interview is winding down, take the cue, get up. Thank him and leave. Don't overdo the flattery. Just be common. Sensical. Keeping you waiting may their test of your patience. Remember, they're interested in what you can do for them. If talking about a controversial or embarrassing area, smile, try to brush it off and don't say too much. Don't get obviously flustered. Try not to get tense or angry during the interview. Try to give off the impression of being easygoing, calm. Listen to questions and answer them directly. Proper etiquette means you know how to be submissive and not arrogant. Be nice to everyone you meet there. Ask questions about the company. Avoid talking about salary. When asked about it, be humble, say you want a living wage, a chance to prove yourself and to be paid what you're worth in due time. Send a thank you note. Learn as much as you can about the company. Salary and benefits. Friends, neighbors and relatives who work for the company are good sources of information. Libraries, local chambers of commerce, etc. are also helpful. Learn everything you can about the job and how your previous experience and training qualify you for the job. Write down the things you will need to complete applications. Your background and experience list contains names of former employers, schools, training, etc. A resume or summary of your work experience. Samples of your work, if practical. Also include any work-related or community service awards that you have received. Be sure to bring your social security card, driver's license, union card, military records, etc. Dress for the interview and the job. Don't overdress or look too informal. Always go to the interview alone. Arrange for babysitters, transportation, and other pitfalls ahead of time so that you can be on time and relaxed in the interview. Find common ground with the employer. Pictures, books, plants, etc., in the employer's office can be conversation. Express your interest in the job and the company using information you gathered to prepare for the interview. Let the interviewer direct the conversation. Answer questions in a clear and positive manner. Show how your experience and training will make you productive in the shortest time with minimal supervision. Interview nos. Interviewers don't like arrogance, long-winded answers, poor ability to speak fluently and clearly. Talk about what you'll get out of it, not the company. Making excuses, being late, poor eye contact, too rigid, Mr. Know-it-all, rudeness, no depth in discussion, no knowledge of the company, unprofessional look, unrealistic goals, hostile, sarcastic. Interview websites. Interview.monster.ca, interview.monster.com/virtualinterview, job-interview.net, jumpstartyourjobsearch.com. Calling a press conference. You call a press conference if you have either something good or bad to say. Your secretary calls or emails several TV networks, radio stations, and newspapers and invites to a central location to listen to what you have to say, then report it to the people. You can hold it in a hotel convention room, the Chamber of Commerce building, your business if it's big enough, or even out in your parking lot if the weather is good. You need chairs, a microphone, and basic refreshments in order to create a favorable impression. Have it during regular business hours. It has to be a big deal, like a new product or explaining how you messed something up and plan to fix it. Have your website name and the company logo on the wall directly behind you. Learn from polished politicians. They have snappy, soundbite, to-the-point statements and answers. They usually have one phrase that they repeat over and over again. You can't fake it for long in a room full of reporters with the lights on you. Try to be as honest as you can. Have a PR person or an expert with you who can answer some of the questions. Create a media kit that you hand out to all the reporters. Don't wear makeup if it makes you look fake. Get on radio/TV/internet talk shows as a guest. Talk in sound bites. Don't smile like an idiot. Keep an unemotional, knowledge generator tone. Pretend you're talking to your friend. Forget the camera. Get the word out. Establish yourself as an expert in your field and tag along everything you write with a quick note listing your website address for a catalog, dealership opportunity, or more information. You can send a bunch of emails to different media stating that you're an expert in some topic and are willing to provide content for their newspaper, magazine, TV show, or radio show. Write a letter to the producer of programs you want to be on, then follow up with a telephone call. You have to emphasize that you can help their listeners or viewers, or that the story is interesting. Create postcards with your logo on the front and your resume as an expert on the back, stating that you're available for interviews. Send them to local and major media. With cable TV and talk radio, shows need interesting guests, which could be you promoting your business if you've got an entertaining hook, but you have to plug away sending queries to all the broadcast media out there, the addresses of which are in the broadcaster directories at the library. For every radio interview you solicit, offer the radio station 10 free of your products or books to give away to their audience. When you actually go on TV or on the radio, it's a soft sell. You're not even selling. You're filling up the show with interesting content, and in return, the host will ask you how people can get a hold of you, whereupon you mention your website and toll-free number. Be clear about your point or vision. Piggyback on current controversial issues or simply create your own, like I like to say that I'm for polygamy and sex work when talking about my sex book. Be humble, not arrogant. You're passing knowledge on. Don't be high energy. It's too fake. Try to be calm. If somebody wants to argue, send it right back in their face with your best shot. Build bridges for future media contact. Speak to your audience. Know your opponents. Study the other side before your interviews. Be helpful, humble, and likable. Know-it-alls come across as arrogant. The media is there to help you. Don't slam them. Put together a great press kit to send around soliciting interviews. Get a website, shark-meat.com, and / or a vanity toll-free number like 800 Shark Meat if you are selling shark meat with merchant credit card status, so potential customers can get your contact info quickly, then call up and order by credit card. You're selling your persona and your knowledge. You can do satellite TV interviews through Skype.com. If you want internet publicity, create your own podcasts and vidcasts and upload them to video and podcast websites. Try number 659.14 or HF6146 at the library. Get yourself listed in guestfinder.com, which is a directory that the media uses to find guests. Guest in media websites. nabi.org/news_details.aspx ? News ID =3384, free knob video instructs how to deal with the media. Profnet.com, fee-based service where journalists put their requests on for people to interview in the media. Authorinterviews.com. cadvision.com/words.torm/word1.html. canspeak.com, Canadian speakers. cheappublicity.com. guestfinder.com. googlel.co.at/googlel/media/index. mediafinder.com. ncpsych.com, motivational seminars. npr.org. prleads.com. hellparportrout.com. parapublishing.com, report how authors get on radio and TV and interviews. parrotmedia.com/pmn.html. plantvarts.com. prepweb.com, runs info bits on radio network. They might is your concept if it's interesting. radio-directory.com. radioguests.com. radioguide.com. radio-online.com. radiospace.com. reference.com. rronline.com, radio and records weekly newspaper geared for radio professionals who might be interested in interviewing you if they see your article in the magazine. rtir.com, 800-989-1400, radio TV interview report, magazine. seminarfinder.com. seminarnet.com. speaking.com. talkradionews.com. tasl.com, training and seminar locator. vine.com/profnet, experts to interview database. wmbr.mit.edu/stations/list.html. year.boonews.com. eaglistalent.com/speakers-bureau. Advocate Media Group. Interviews and Reviews Magazine. 800-439-5055. Christian Media Magazine. Broadcast Interview Source. 2233 Wisconsin Avenue. NW. Washington, D.C. 20007-4104. 800-932-7266. 202-333-4904. Fax, 202-342-5411. Editor at yearbooknews.com. Yearbooknews.com. The Yearbook of experts, authorities, and spokespersons is distributed to a lot of media outlets. Event Management Services. 519 Cleveland St. Number 205. Clearwater, Florida 34615. 813-443-7115. Fax, 813-443-0835. Media Talk Magazine. Good Phone Communications. epub 60781. Longmeadow, Massachusetts 01116. 413-567-3189. Fax, 413-567-3168. Talkers.com. Magazine for talk radio industry. National Press Club. 529 14th St. Northwest. Washington, D.C. 20045. 202-662-7525. Fax, 202-662-7512. Membership at npcapress.org. npcapress.org. Their book directory of news sources lists people willing to talk in the media as experts like you promoting your thing. National Speakers Bureau. 800-661-4110. 604-734-3663. Speakers at nsb.com. nsb.com. Canada. Public Relations Society. Public Information Office. 33 Irving Place. 3rd FL. NYC 10003. 212-995-2230. prsa.org. General information. Radio TV Interview Report Magazine. Bradley COMM. 135 East Plumstead Avenue. epub 1206. Lansdowne, Pennsylvania 19050. 800-989-1400. 800-553-8002. 610-259-1070. Fax, 610-284-3704. Magazine that media professionals use to find guests for their shows. It contains a long list of guests. Perhaps you could get listed in there or buy an ad about yourself. Publicity on the internet. Identify your clear message, then sell it. Create an informative, entertaining, easy-to-use website. Use lots of wording about the field so search engines pick it up. Submit it to search engine. If you have the money, buy advertising on Google, Yahoo, etc., sometimes called search engine optimization, to get a high ranking as a sponsored website. A high ranking on a search engine is the most important way to get noticed. The more personable, the better. Offer to answer questions. Put up a webcam feed, answer some live or make a vidcast. Put a profile up on Facebook.com, Meetup.com, Townhall.com, and MySpace.com. If you have interesting knowledge, send out internet press releases and end them with an offer to be interviewed. Make up your own email list of media people as you go along and send them emails when something interesting comes up. Create an email newsletter. Make it simple to join up. They just type in their email address. Monitor your website to see if anyone is bad-mouthing it. If they are, use allwhois.com to find out who owns it, then threaten them with a civil suit or do something like send them a gift. Put a chat room up. Put some stuff up on wikipedia.org that links back to you. Use freeconference.com to hold a free conference on your subject. Create a blog if you can do a good one. If you want internet publicity, create your own podcasts and vidcasts and upload them to video and podcast websites. Try number 659.14 or HF6146 at the library. eMarketer.com, We'reTheMedia.com, Ramprate.com, Wired.com, Hitwise.com. Learn about Internet media. Media training websites for interviews. Prepare 3 key points and focus on them. advancingwomen.com/photographies/hop/cameras tips/preparing-for-your-media-interview.php. ammermanexperience.com/media-relations-training-houston.htm. fundsraiser.com/apr06/interview.html. gailmurphy.com/seminars.htm, interview tactics seminar. iabc.com/media. karenfriedman.com/mit.htm, media interview training. keenipr.com/services/media_training.asp, media training seminars. prsecrets.com/mediacoaching.html. publicspeakinginternational.com, how to prepare for a media appearance. rtir.com, radio TV interview report. Chapter 2. Marketing yourself to the media. Creating a marketing/publicity plan. It's not enough just to have a great product. You have to get the word out, market it so to speak. Identify your target audience, the demographic groups of people who you expect will be most willing to buy from you. Study the different forms of media and determine what media would be best to reach them, such as an ad or article in an outdoor, an interview on a certain TV talk show, advertising on a certain radio show, etc. Watch the media, learn about it and use it to your advantage. At the very least, send out press releases for things you do that you think are newsworthy. Brainstorm to try to come up with good, novel marketing ideas. Your job is twofold. Try to create interesting activities/amusements that will get you media coverage. Try to get interviewed on TV shows, radio shows, and for print media simply by sending press releases and requests. Whenever you do an interview, your job is not to sell your product. It's to provide an interesting show. If you can do that, you will get more interviews and the product will sell. Go to trade shows and other events related to your product. You could hire a publicist or marketing consultant to help get the word out about your product. There are no two ways around it. If you want to market your product, you have to get out there in the public eye to get known any way you can think up. Virtually everyone has a website these days. It's a quick way to get your contact information across. It takes 3 seconds to say a catchy, easy to remember website name and people can go look it up to see what you're all about. When creating a publicity plan, you have to decide how far you want to go with it, both geographically and media penetration wise. Geographically, your options are: local area, your town, city, and surrounding areas; regional area, your state, province, and surrounding states/provinces; national, continental, Canada, and US usually go together in a marketing campaign; international, you can either focus on the English-speaking countries or go beyond to target the big industrialized non-English nations like Germany, Japan, Korea, Mexico, France, etc. Once you have that down, simply locate the different media formats in these areas: radio, TV, print, internet. Find the major ones relevant to your target demographic group, or you might simply want the major mainstream ones that pretty well appeal to the entire general population. Look for the shows, regular columns, and features each of them produce, then set out to contact them with a personalized approach as to how to either get on these shows as a guest for an interview or how to get either written about or an article you wrote written up in the newspaper, magazine, or website you're interested in. The key is to not be advertising like. Present either informative or entertaining material, and in the process you will be promoting yourself by virtue of being there getting exposure. Think through your materials to contact the media before you begin sending off your materials. With most people, you only make a first impression once. If you come off like a self-centered, flaming sap with your first press release or solicitation to get on a show with a particular media outlet, that's the way they will perceive you from then on in. Be realistic. If you're a local business or have a lightweight book, the big national networks and newspapers aren't interested. Start with your local press and build out from there before you try to contact the big guys. If you get some good publicity from the smaller one, put them in your press kit to show you have a track record within the media. Read a media directory like Bacon's or Ulrich's, make a list of editors, journalists, and networks you think might be interested in your product, book or story, then send out your press kit to each them. The major types of media are as follows: print, newspapers, magazines, alternative weeklies, newsletters; radio, local, national, syndicated, news, talk; TV, local, cable, national; internet, e-zines, chats, newsletters, mailing lists, online radio and TV shows. Most media outlets have a specific focus, so don't waste your time querying them unless you fit into their format. You could hire a publicist, but even these people have their niches or areas of specialty. Some newswire services have a feature whereby journalists email in with requests for experts and information on stories they're developing, so it might be worthwhile to subscribe to a newswire service, monitor these requests, then jump on the ones directed in your area of knowledge. There are a few magazines, websites, and annual books such Radio TV Interview Report, GuestFinder.com, and the Yearbook of Experts, Authorities, and Spokespersons, which contain lists of people and also ads put in by these people proclaiming to be experts in some particular area, which media insiders read, then contact these people when they need an expert in that area. The main types of print media that you could possibly get your book or product written up in are as follows: feature, full-length articles on a subject; column, short, regular, daily, weekly, or monthly article written by the same person in newspapers and magazines on just about any topic that has enough interest to sustain a regular column; syndicates, companies who have a large store of current media articles that they offer to their subscribers, media outlets, to use in their publications, shows, etc. for a fee. They cover columns too. A column could conceivably be syndicated in thousands of newspapers worldwide. Scholarly articles and reviews found mainly in academic journals. Roundups, a consumer piece which compares several different brands or types of a product or service, such as comparing 5 brands of instant coffee or 5 7-day discount trips to Jamaica. Product or book reviews, these are consumer pieces that list the good and bad points of a product or a book. If your product or book is community-oriented, you could try to get on a radio or TV public service announcement, PSA, which is basically an ad for a non-profit cause. Specify in your press release that it's a PSA. If you have an event, get yourself listed in the weekly calendar of events of your local newspaper. The more you get written and talked about in the media, the more you are in demand and the more attractive you become. Include these articles with your bio in your press kit. Some people write op-ed pieces, letters to the editor, short stories, and fun questionnaire tests and send them into newspapers in an effort to get further publicity for themselves. Press Kit 1. A press kit is a publicity package you put together about yourself to give to the media outlets that you want to appear on as a guest for an interview. You put all the material in a neat binder and either hand them out to people you meet who you deem as important to you or send them off. Often people get these binders custom made and put something cool on the cover like their company logo, the title of their book, a picture of the pop band. Musicians use press kits too, etc. There is no standard formula for a press kit, but the basic tenets are as follows. Press release. Bio, biography. A bio is a short history of you, your product or business that includes your most outstanding features in a formal sense, like where you went to school, your company won some award, etc. Send out a version less than a page with the press kit, but keep a longer version around in case anyone asks for more info. The purpose of your bio is to establish your credibility from the point of view of the established, formal world. State what it is you are promoting and what you did in life that makes you so fascinating in this area. Include articles written about you and your product with your bio. Staple photocopies of them to it. Cover/pitch letter. A cover/pitch letter tells the radio or TV people why you or your agenda is relevant to the topic in general, the issue or life in general. Use a mix of hype and fact. At the end, state your mode of availability for interviews. Are you willing to show up in studio for interviews, or will you only do them by phone or by a remote camera from your locale? If you put 911 interviews available in big block letters on your pitch letter, this is an industry convention that means you will be willing to fill in on short notice for a cancelled guest or for some other calamity. Interview questions. The media wants you to give them the questions they will ask you. It makes it easier for them and you. Take a sheet of paper and write out 10 to 20 good interview questions that could be asked to you about your subject in the order you would like to have them asked. Some radio people simply go straight down the list with no ad-libbing. Tip sheet. A tip sheet is another piece of paper that goes along with the interview questions sheet, where you write up a little blurb about your subject that the media guy might use when introducing you and your subject. Then you fill up the page with 10 to 20 neat, interesting facts about your field that he could possibly read off as filler from time to time in the show. Fact sheet. Beyond a tip sheet, you could include a fact sheet, which is general reference material about your subject area, like a short report for high school. Photo. A photo is simply either a headshot or an action shot, if that's your shtick, of you that tells the media guy what you look like, since the look is relevant to TV interviews, or it could be used to accompany an article written by or about you in a newspaper or magazine. You can get 5 by 7 inch color prints made relatively inexpensively at photography shops in 100 lots at places that do this routinely for actors/model types. Get your photo done in black and white and color in digital format so you can send it off to a media outlet if they want to use it in an article or as a still on TV. For different media outlets, you present different types of press kits. For print publications, send only your press release and tip sheet. If they're interested, they will get back to you for more. You can send photos along for print and radio queries, but it's not necessary. Send them only for TV queries. If a newspaper wants your picture, they will ask for it. For radio shows, you often fax or email a short pitch letter, although you can send it hard copy. If they want your bio or more, they will ask for it. For TV shows, especially the big ones, send the entire press kit and a copy of your book. For the internet, email them what you deem relevant. You could include a feature article ready for publication in your press kit stating that it could be used as a feature by anyone who wants it, or a note stating you have X number of feature articles about topic X, 500, 1000, and 3000 words long, available for publication for free for the publicity you get out of the deal. Finally, if you really want a thorough press kit, include a question and answer sheet, which is another look at your subject matter from the point of view of basic questions being asked and answered. You can include other things if you want, like a client list if it's impressive, full of Fortune 500 companies and high-profile people. Press Kit 2. The press kit is made up to publicize new products or a product line. They may be put together for a trade show, convention, or a press conference. Generally, a press kit includes a bio of the head dude. A news release and a photograph or drawing with a caption is included. Copies of past news stories and newspaper clippings are enclosed. A press kit is usually a folder with a nice logo of your company on the front, with nice looking promotional materials on the inside, maybe a bumper sticker of your company, a pen with your company logo, a CD with your company song, and possibly a baseball hat with your company logo on it. You give it out to all possible business associates you come across, anyone else relevant, including people in the media. It's the instantaneous message of your company in one package. If you're releasing an interesting new product, send a media kit along with a press release about the new product to the local media. In the world of business, corporations, entertainers, magazines, books, pop bands, etc. all make up a media press kit which showcases their product quickly through a photograph, cover letter, copy of the product, etc. They send these out to whoever they happen to be doing business with who might be interested. It's usually all put into a nice folder which has been custom printed with the company's logo, etc. If you send letters to magazines saying you're a company interested in advertising with them, ask for a press kit and they should send you one of their magazine. Get your own press kit made. Remember, press kits are meant to be hype. This is the place where you can legitimately sell yourself and pat yourself on the back as to how great you are. This gives media personnel the juice to write an article or do a report on you or provides background for when they interview you. The basic ingredients of a press kit are as follows. Cover letter. This should be brief, enticing, interesting and brief. Tell why you're so good, how you can help inspire, help, or entertain people and why you're sending this press kit at this time. Is it to publicize a special event or to provide an introduction and background material on your business? Press release. A basic report on the guts of your business. Cover the 5 W's of journalism. Who? What? Where? When? Why? A sample of your business product regarded of what it is except for something expensive like a car, snowmobile, etc. In these cases, send a picture, poster, or a keychain with the car model on it. Bio sheet. A little blurb about you as though in a college yearbook or Who's Who book. Past press clips. They show that you've got some credibility with other journalists. A photograph of your business in action in some capacity. A folder to put it all in. The press kit is made up to publicize celebrities, movies, CDs, bands, cartoons, new products, a product line or a business/corporation. They may be put together for a trade show or convention or a press conference or an entity has them around to give to anyone relevant to their business. Generally, a press kit includes a biography of the person who is being publicized, the inventor, the author, the pop culture band or the head of the company. A news release/cover letter/short bio is included in a photograph or drawing of the headquarters building, individual, pop band, author, etc. with a caption is attached. Copies of news stories and newspaper clippings are enclosed, anything pertinent to the item you want publicized. An entertainer's schedule might be included if it's a conference about a tour. The press kit is usually in a folder or envelope and is handy to send to publications or for press conferences or to give information to the local media. Increasingly, press kits are getting very gimmicky. People put freebie things in them that might or might not be related to the product, but it's something useful or funny meant to entice the receiving journalist or other interested party into checking it out and writing a positive article about it or going forward with whatever their business purpose might be in this particular situation. I've seen t-shirts, food, toys for babies, stupid, expensive plastic gizmos, keychains, car deodorizers with the product logo on it, pictures of scantily clad women in provocative poses holding the product, and the list goes on. A bio of a personality, whether a famous celebrity or the president of your company, is fact, not hype. It usually is included in press kits for background information only, it's not meant for release. Although important information concerning the person's career should be included, make it informative and interesting to read. Many editors or reporters will use that information in a news story or feature. It should be single-spaced and never make it more than 2 pages even if the person deserves a full book. Here are some examples of corporate press kits. Most corporations have them on their website. omnitour.com/company/press_kit. sandisk.com/corporate/media kit. chiphospitality.com/presskit.html. Press kit websites /media kit websites. how.com/operations/press-kit.htm. absolutrite.com/novels/press_kit.htm. inbox.com/rl/te3-1_sr-press-kit-examples.html. imakenews.com/presskit/e_article 000040003.cfm. top10.org/public/af/af56.html, the top 10 most important documents to include in your press kit. internet.com/media kit. dummies.com/how-to/content/constructing-a-press-kit.html. easyarticles.com, how to make a great press kit. instantmediakit.com. electronic press kit/e-press kit/epk. Rather than a hard copy press kit, some people make up a press kit entirely on a CD/DVD. A musical group might introduce themselves, explain who they are, include a few stills of recent press releases and photographs, play a live song or two, include a few audio songs, provide a list of upcoming concert dates and leave their contact address at the end. You can send this around to media and possible investors as a videotape, CD-ROM or DVD, or put it in digital format such that you can download it to interested people over the internet either through email autoresponder when they request it or have an icon on your website that people can click onto to get it downloaded. The biography/your bio. You can find the Who's Who books somewhere in the number 900 section of the library. I believe it's the biography section number 920-929. Most of them are short factual statements like where you were brought up, colleges you attended, work positions you held, and anything you might have done that might be considered charitable or great. A bio is included in press kits for background information. Keep it short. In the business world, people don't want to know about your family situation or your so-called hobbies. A photo should be included since a picture can say a lot more about you than any thousands words because your face shows the life you lived so far. Keep it a headshot. Video news release/VNR. A relatively new trend is a video news release/VNR, a professionally produced 1 to 4 minute piece of video that describes your concept with images and narration that could be conceivably used as a news story, but more often than not, if a newsroom uses it, they will create their own story and use some footage from the VNR. The video news release/VNR is a video version of a press release. You package a little story on video and send it out to media outlets hoping that they will use it for free to fill up their shows, in exchange for the publicity you get out of it. Think of VNRs as short video pieces created by organizations, corporations, and governments to promote their causes, routinely used as filler in TV newscasts. TV stations are not required by law to say whether a certain story was created by journalists or is a VNR. I personally think there is payola involved because there are PR companies around whose job it is to get the VNRs of their clients onto as many TV newscasts as they can. Some news shows have gotten flack about using VNRs because they say it represents bias on the part of the newscast, but the way around it is they just put a little note on the screen saying footage courtesy of the Save the Cats Foundation or whatever the organization is. To find VNR producers, call local TV news stations and ask if they've got someone interested in producing a segment for you. Look in the yellow pages under video or film production and look for a local film school or film class in your area such that you could hire one of them to make it for you. Some people videotape weddings and other events like that part-time in addition to regular jobs. They have the typical editing equipment you will see advertised in videomaker.com, the magazine about video production. Make your VNR, put it on youtube.com and other video depositories, then send out queries to TV stations about it. There is also the audio news release, which is a little radio report you create then send it off to news radio stations. Medialink.com, information about video news releases/VNRs. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/video_news_release. gpvideo.com, video news release services. iii.org/media/AV. jeffproductions.com, VNR services. multiview.com, VNR services. osu.edu/news/VNR/archive.php, look at some VNRs at Ohio State University. technerati.com/tag/video news release. tvaproductions.com, VNR promotion CO. video-news-release.com, video news release and production. videonewsrelease.net, Washington, D.C. westglenn.com, video news release and production. Some VNR producers. JNext Television. 5455 Wilshire Boulevard. Number 2010. La California 90036. 800-366-5639. 213-934-4356. Fax, 213-934-7269. Media Link. 708 3rd Avenue. 9th FL. NYC 10017. 800-843-0677. 212-682-8300. MediaLinkWorldwide.com. National Satellite. 8075 West 3rd St. Number 504. La California 90048. 213-857-0777. Fax, 213-939-9475. natsat@aol.com. News/Broadcast Network. 149 Madison Avenue. Number 804. NYC 10016. 212-889-0888. Fax, 212-696-4611. On the Scene Productions. 5900 Wilshire Boulevard. Number 1400. La California 90036. 213-930-1030. Fax, 213-930-1840. onthescene.com. Worldwide Television News. 1995 Broadway. 8th FL. NYC 10023. 800-526-1161. 212-362-4440. Fax, 212-496-1269. Column releases. Some trade journals have specific columns written by a reporter that run weekly or monthly. If you have a newsworthy item for a column, you can build up a working rapport with the writer and supply material from time to time. The entertainment trade papers have daily columns that keep celebrities in the limelight. Metropolitan newspapers run daily columns that mention politicians, and industry publications have columns that pertain to a certain aspect of your enterprise. When you write a column release, copy the style of the writer and use the format of the news release. Instead of "for immediate release," type in capital letters, "for exclusive release" to the name of the person. Use your imagination when you write the column release and don't get discouraged if it's passed by. Keep building relationships with the columnists and you will get your news publicized. The standard rate and data contains listings of trade magazines. Beyond that, print media in general may have special columns for new products, a consumer section, or they may just be so starved for input that they will be willing to include an article about your enterprise. Suffice it to say that your headline and the story you present to the editor must sell him on the benefits of your product or service to his readers. Unless it specifically does this, he will not use it. You must sell the first person receiving your materials. Keep this fact uppermost in your mind as you write your article. The person you send your press or publicity release to must quickly see and understand how your product or service will benefit his readers, thereby making him a hero to them, and he must be assured it will do what you promise in your headline. Think like the editor. Give him an article that makes him look like he's helping his readers out with good information. Come right to the point and say your product is lower in price, more convenient to use, or in what way your product or service is useful to the people in general. It is also a good idea to include a complimentary sample of your product or an opportunity for him to sample your services. The editors receiving your information are fully aware of your purposes, so don't be afraid to sell it. The timing of your press release is always important. Try to associate your press release with current events in the news. A story on job layoffs and increased unemployment carried in the media should prompt you to focus on job-finding products. There is another kind of timing also to keep in mind: publication deadlines. For best results, always try to time it so your material reaches the editor in time for the Sunday paper. This is because that is when the papers have their greatest circulation, the most space is available and the people have the most time to read the paper. For articles you would like to appear in the Sunday paper, you will generally have to get your releases in at least 9 days prior to the date of publication. If you are in doubt, call and ask about the deadline date. I was watching one of those tabloid shows when they did a little piece about a new product, a programmable remote control that would eliminate all other remote controls for everything else in the house. To me, it was a great piece because it gave me information I didn't know existed in something I and a lot of other people want, so this is what works. Give the media a good hook and they will do a piece on it. If you're really savvy, you will get a gig writing a weekly column in some mainstream publication with a section dedicated to your area of expertise. Chapter 3. Media Marketing Resources. Commercialism/media websites. Most people are heartily manipulated by advertising and the media, even though just about everyone says they aren't, yet the fact remains, why would corporations routinely spend multi-billions of dollars on advertising and media publicity if they didn't work? Despite the massive brainwash out there are a few forces that look at this phenomena with a critical eye and try to make people aware of the massive manipulation. As a business owner, you can learn from what the critics and anti-capitalist, pop culture people say about advertising and media. Try number 302.32, number 363.47, number 658.834 or HF5415 to HF5823 and P94 at the Library for books about the manipulative art of advertising. hcacademic.com/westview.htm, Book Marketing Madness, A Survival Guide for a Consumer Society, by Michael F. Jacobson and Lori Ann Mazur. Versobooks.com, The Business of Books, How the International Conglomerates Took Over Publishing and Changed the Way We Read, Andrei Shifrin. ABOUT-FACE.org. AbsurdGallery.com. Adaction.org. Adbusters.org, 800-663-1243. AIM.org, Accuracy in Media. ALA.org, 800-545-2433, Information Literacy Standards for Student Learning. CME.org, Center for Media Education. NewDream.org, Center for New American Dream. CommercialAlert.org, Protecting Kids from Advertising. CommercialExploitation.com, Stop Commercial Exploitation of Children. CommonSenseMedia.org/resources. ConsumerWebWatch.org. ControlEourTV.org. CorpWatch.org. CQCM.org, Coalition for Quality Children's Media. CTheory.com, Modern Commentary on Pop Culture. CultureJam.com, CultureJam.org. Disinfo.com. Earthstationone.com, EARTHSTATION1.com. EMA-ONLINE.org, the Environmental Media Association. Essential.org. Essential.org/monitor. Fair.org, Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting. Fair.org, Media Bias. FaithPopcorn.com, Consultant for Women's Advertising. Feedmag.com. FightMannequinism.org. FinancialPeace.com. Glyphs.com/millpop, pop culture. Grassroots.com. Hitchmagazine.com, Journal of Pop Culture Absurdity. HollywoodHalfwits.com. HowTheWhyChangeYourMind.com. iBiblio.org/stayfree/archives/13/manipulated. Indiemedia.org. Interact.uoregon.edu/medialit/fa/mladvertchild. Interact.uoregon.edu/medialit/mlr/home/index.html, The Media Literacy Online Project. Ithaca.edu/looksharp/library/edulist.html. Jefferson.village.virginia.edu/pmc, Postmodern Culture. Junkbusters.com. Lionlamb.org, Anti-Violence in Media. M3f.org. Mediaandthefamily.org, National Institute on Media and the Family. Mediaawareness.ca. media-awareness.ca. Mediachannel.com. Media.org, Media Education Foundation. Mediafamily.org. MediaGK.net. Medialit.org, 800-226-9494, Media Literacy, How They Brainwash You. MediaWatch.com. MoralityInMedia.org. NewDream.org, tries to teach about living a less consumeristic, pop culture lifestyle. newdream.org/campaign/kids. Parascope.com. pbs.org/pov/taking-on-thecandy/dissect.html, dissect an ad. Prospect.org. radicalmedia.com. rapfamily.com. schoolcommercialism.org. scn.org/cccs, Citizens Campaign for Commercial-Free Schools. shootthemessenger.com.au, critique of pop culture. simpleliving.net. simplyenough.com. smutthebook.com. teachwithmovies.com. televisionwithoutpity.com. trendwatching.com. tvturnoff.org. Media marketing websites /radio marketing /TV marketing. radioprguy.com. tvprguys.com. affiliatedoublier.com. alexa.com. bridgemarketing.com. berg.com. buzzyhour.com. cmgproductions.com, 212-691-5611, Media Consulting. copy-doctor.com, Copywriting. frugalmarketing.com. govspot.com/pulse/talkshouse.hdm, TV talk shows. joydelf.com, Media Services. listmedia.com. mediabistro.com. mediabuierplanner.com. modernpostcard.com, service that produces custom postcards. newmangroup.com, 212-752-3351, Media Consulting. parkhurstcom.com, 212-675-5650, Media Consulting. plantvarts.com. profnet.com, fee-based service where journalists put their requests on for people to interview in the media. proreply.com. prplace.com. prsecrets.com, Media Consulting. publicityhound.com. radiopublicity.com. salesautopsy.com. sayitbetter.com. talion.com. talkers.com, trade magazine of talk radio industry. tut.com/auwc. webcopysecrets.com. wilsonweb.com. winning-newsmedia.com.